All right, God bless you, those that are coming in. I am going to give everybody a minute to get here because I don't want you to miss part two, preparing for the golden years is very critical. I mean, this is something that we prepare for a lot of things, and I don't know if our schools and homes and churches and prepare us for this, but this is a part of our necessary preparations. All right, so I'm gonna wait for a couple more minutes and give others an opportunity to come in. Okay. All right, so God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. We're talking about, oh, let me put this down here, preparing for, I did not put it in I did not prepare a banner. Preparing for the Golden Ages Part 2. Now, I know many of you just got off the line with us with our Sunday school lesson, but I wanted to make sure I didn't separate this opportunity to bring part two to you. I didn't want to put too much time in between them. So I'm coming to you now for part two. So give me just a second. Let's put this up. And I see we have one person on. All right, so I'm going to go ahead because we're talking about preparing for the golden ages. It's a conversation that everybody needs to have, and there is no age limit on this. You start preparing for the golden ages actually when you're in your mother's womb. That's when the preparation should be made. So we want to have some discussion on that. And we had part one on last week. So you will be able to find that on the YouTube channel. It will have it under grief support. And I'm going to put a separate, yeah, I'm going to put a separate list in there for preparing for the golden ages. So it'll be easy to find. So let's go into part two. The first part we talked about the preparation that we make. And that is so that we can age well, so that we can grow older with the best advantages. You know, the ideal situation in aging is that we have all of our mental faculties and that we have good health, good sound health, so that we're not dependent upon others. It's also, God bless you, Minister Banks. It is also a part of what we look forward to, the way we eat, so that we can be healthy and we can still be mobile and we don't have a lot of health issues. So those are some of the things we talked about a little bit, preparing for the golden ages, and then as we get older, there are other things that we really need to have some serious conversations about. This may be something you want to pass on to someone else. So if you want to share this, it's going to help somebody, because with me working in a hospital, talking to a lot of families on every level, from just chronic illnesses and frequent hospital visits to hospice and to preparations for final arrangements. I talk with them on every level, and there are a few things that are common, and that is people don't have these conversations, and so uh, they don't prepare themselves the way they need to prepare themselves so that they can make life as palatable and as easy as possible. All right, so those of you that are going to view this later, I'm going to go ahead and get started because this is something I just want to have out there. We will be putting these out there for my job. I will be prepping and putting these out there for people around the southeastern Michigan area. But I thought I would just give this to those that are available and those that are listening. So we're talking again on, I still didn't display the banner, so forgive me for that. We're talking about preparing for the golden ages, part two. So if you're 24 years old and you haven't started preparing for the golden ages, then you should be looking at this, and you should actually be making some arrangements in various ways. All right. So let's start talking about it. Let's talk about the discussions that you need to have. There are a number of conversations that you need to have, both with your parents, with your elders, to people that are caregivers that notice that some of your loved ones are now needing more assistance, and life is changing for them physically. There are conversations that you need to have. And now people really don't like having these conversations. And there's a lot of reasons why they don't want to have these conversations. Primarily, I believe people think that, it's not anything that they need to talk about right now, that that's something off in the distance. I think a lot of people refuse to have these conversations because they are simply, they think it's a very, dark and grim conversation. But, there's some questions I need to ask you to see if you can get to the bottom of why you feel that way. Um, a lot of people don't have these conversations because they're afraid if they talk about it, it'll happen. They don't even want to think about it. But one thing that we do know, all of us understand, and please share. One thing that all of us know is that we are going to get older as we continue to live. We wake up every day and we thank God for a new day. What has happened? You have aged. So you have increased in age. God bless you, Mother Wilson. You have increased in age. And what happens as we increase in age? Well, the scripture rings true. When God spoke to Adam, when he was angry with our parents back in the garden, he said, "The day you eat of this fruit, you shall surely die." And what happened? The body began a deterioration process. So we want to live long, and we are living longer. Where we used to leave here in maybe 10, and we have probably about 10 more years added to our. God bless you, Mother Wilson. Praise the Lord. We probably have a good 10 years added on to the average lifespan. In our study of gerontology, I found out that people can possibly, your cells can turn over, and it is possible to live up to 120 years old. I don't want to be 120 years old. I know you think that that's a little bit morbid for me to come out and say that, but I really don't want to be 120 years old. But that's what gerontologists now believe, that that is a distinct possibility along with the medical profession. Armita Redfield. Yeah, so preparing for the golden years is going to include both making sure that you're financially stable. It's going to include that you're healthy and that you have a strong mind and a very sound mind. That is a big concern. There were a few reports out years ago that one person, at least 1 in 8 people over the age of 65, would have issues with Alzheimer's disease, and now they're saying by 83 it's going to be 1 in every 3 people. So I think what they're doing is preparing for the baby boomers. However, everybody needs to be preparing for the golden ages right now. Praise them, my dear sister Armita. But you should be preparing now. You should be change your diet, change the things you eat so that it won't build up the plaque, and some of the things that contribute to Alzheimer's, and some of the things that contribute to heart disease and contribute to high blood pressure. Change some of those things now, and your health can improve, depending on what age you're at and how severe it is. And I would even talk with a doctor. I would even talk with a dietitian to see what we can do to make life more comfortable. Some of the things that we may be doing that are destructive or harmful that we don't realize. So we are preparing for the golden years. So appetite changes, lifestyle changes, all that is a part of it. But there is a even bigger part of it that I want to talk to you about today. We will get back to that part, but let's talk about having discussions with those who you love that are preparing for the golden ages and may even be in the golden ages. So let me define that. Golden ages are when individuals are retired. They're called the golden ages because now you have the leisure to sit back and relax and enjoy life and live life as you please, as opposed to keeping a schedule. Hurt me. Instead of keeping a schedule, having numerous responsibilities, now you're getting back your money that you put in Social Security. Hey, if you want to just watch TV, or if you want to go off and go shopping, if you want to go out to lunch with your old friends from school, or if you want to be able to travel, maybe you just want to be able to just get in your car and go and visit people and spend good, valuable time with them. You may want to do that. These are the golden years because you're not responsible, and you're not tied down to a job. But if you are debilitated physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, if you are under some level of duress, it's going to interfere with how much you can live that life. So, again, we are preparing for the golden ages. Now, we did talk about a number of things in the first part. So, this time we're going to talk about part two. We're going to talk about some discussions that you need to have. Um, Discussions such as how you want to live your life, how you want to live your golden years. So, just to have a plan is not enough, but to make the proper preparations to see to it that that plan can be carried out is what we're talking about right now. So, to have a plan to enjoy the golden years, you want to consider where life is going. Again, our bodies will deteriorate. We won't be able to do the things we did, the marathons. I mean, you'll hear every once in a while about someone really of age running a marathon, or actually getting out there and succeeding at some goal they have with some physical feat that they've always wanted to do, and they may do it, but that's very few and far in between. But the body deteriorates, so you're not able to do as much. So, what you want to do is to think far into the future, and you want to think about the way you want to spend the last parts of your life. Now, if this is a conversation you're not ready to have, or you feel a little squeamish about, or you feel is a little bit morbid, don't go anywhere. You need to have discussions on how you want to live. Now, nobody really wants to be in the hospital when they pass away. People want to be at home, they want to be surrounded by their loved ones, they want to be in a place where they're familiar with. People are now coming in and out of your room all times of night, checking your blood pressure, checking all types of vital statistics, and giving meds and interrupting you. You want to be at home. You want to be where it's quiet and where it's peaceful. Now, I'm talking about this now at a time where we are at an age where everything is well. The reason you want to have these conversations now, and when I say now, I'm speaking of in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s, definitely in your 70s. Because later on, when all of the health issues really begin to come in, it's going to be difficult to have these conversations because there's going to be a lot of disagreements, and there's going to be a lot of confusion, in addition to the anxiety that you're going through with the loved one. So you don't want to be in a hospital having these conversations. You want to talk about this right now while everybody's doing well. So one of the conversations my mother had with me was, after my father passed away, she said, if you put me in a nursing home, I will die. I can't make it in a nursing home, so make sure you take care of me. And as soon as my father passed away, I said, it's time to come and live with me. So that way, she never had to worry about being in a facility. She never had to worry about having to wait or to depend on other people to care for her, people she was unfamiliar with that may or may not even like their job, a facility that may or may not even be appropriate for the lifestyle that they have lived. Maybe they've lived a middle class lifestyle, and the facilities that are available or that they can afford to get into are far beneath their desired living standard. So that's why these things are good. These are conversations that you want to have right now. Do you want to come live with us? Do you want to be able to live with your in your home? And then ask your questions, because all of these needed conversations have solutions, and there are resources available, and I wanted to give them to you. But you go ahead and ask your questions. So here you want to decide how you want to live. Now, it's a conversation that you need to have. If you have children, you're going to need to do two things. You're going to need to talk to them about it, and you're going to need to select what's called a durable power of attorney. Secondly, you're going to need to have a medical power of attorney. And that is not someone that has to be trained in law and trained in, a medical background. But these are going to be the ones that are going to be respected as the decision maker that will speak for you if you are not able to speak for yourself, or if you are not unnecessarily wanting to have that conversation at that time. You can refer them to your medical power of attorney or your durable power of attorney. The durable power of attorney is the one that manages your money. These are the ones that the bank will respect, and the credit unions and all the financial institutions where you may have funding at. You want to be sure that you have designated someone to be the durable power of attorney, so that when they go to this institution and ask for funding, whether it be for um, perhaps you found an assisted living facility that you enjoy. There are beautiful assisted living. Yes, it is something that, and it's true. And let's make life easy, right, Armida? There are beautiful assisted living. I have walked into, as in my capacity of work, I've walked into assisted living facilities that were like five-star hotels. I've walked into them, and you could just see all the beautiful mirrors up the staircase, and the way it wound around, the architecture of the building, and walking past the dining room, you could hear the clinking of the forks and the knives, and the plates, and the little, God bless you, Sister Phyllis Young, and the sound of the teacups and the tea. So these people were eating off of fine china. They were eating in a very nice restaurant. And just to let you know, if there was a visitor there, because sometimes I would go and I would do my charting and documenting there before I left. So they had a little cafe area that you could go in, and you could order at a very, very inexpensive rate, and you could get a chance to eat what they were eating, and the food was very good and very inexpensive, and it was a very clean place. So those kind of places do indeed exist. However, and they cost thousands of dollars, some of them tens of thousands of dollars per month, because they provide food, they have overnight emergency care, they have daytime emergency care, they have beautiful units, that are set up in a way where you can feel like you are in a community and not just another number in a facility. And they also have various like exercise equipment, they have various programs. So you're really in a community of people that are on the same pace as you and a place where you can enjoy. So if you're more social, and that's the kind of retirement you want, where there are activities and you're around a lot of people, you like meeting people and being around people. Those are things. So you need to decide if you want to do that or if you want to stay in your home. Some people, their home is all to their specs. It's like it's just the right size for me. It's in a location that I'm satisfied with. I put a lot of love and decoration into this home. I'm comfortable here. I know my neighbors. I'm around family and friends. I can still travel to church. I can still travel to visit loved ones. So I want to stay here in my home. Have that conversation. These are the conversations that you need to have with your loved ones again while you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Because after that, when there's sickness, when there's deterioration, when there are frequent visits, chronic sickness, and visits to the hospital, it's difficult to even bring this subject up because you're almost, God bless you, Shirley Love. You're almost telling them, you've been sick a lot, so you might die soon. And so it may be a very disturbing conversation to have then. That's why it's easier to have the conversation now. So the durable power of attorney is the one that no matter how many siblings are there, no matter how many family and friends are there, this individual is the one that is going to make the decision concerning medication, treatments, procedures, surgeries, discharges, where you're going to live. That person, you want that person to know what is in your heart so that they can follow your directives and you can feel confident. Now, that's the medical power of attorney. I'm sorry, yeah, that would be the medical power of attorney. Of course, the durable power of attorney was the one that handles the finances, the estate sales, how you handle your money. Thank you, Mother Wilson. How you want your money to be spent. Durable power of attorney will also talk durable and medical power of attorney and your loved ones. You may want to sit down with, or maybe just an attorney, and have a discussion on your will. And don't think that you need to be wealthy with all types of assets in order to write a will, because there may be just some nice things and some memorable things that you want to leave to specific ones that have sentimental value. And those things, or then again, you may have finances that are coming in, you may have some annuities, you may have some other investments that are bringing in money, or money may be sitting in an account somewhere, and you want that to be given to someone that you feel is best suited for it. Then remember, as you age, you want to go in and revisit that, because as you age, you may change. I've had, since I've been living here 17 years, well, I had just my four children and I had one granddaughter. And now I have my four children and I have my two son in laws and my daughter in law and I have nine grandchildren. So things have to be moved around. I want to make sure my grandchildren go to college. I want to make sure that they have opportunity to do things and enjoy things. I want to leave some love behind for them. So you may want to go in and um, revisit that last will and testament. Those are things that you do now. You do those things now. It may seem like morbid, but really, it's really responsible. It's being responsible. Again, having these discussions will require, before you can select one, it's going to require all of the children coming together, having this conversation together, and everyone needs to be on board to prevent the arguments. Now, let me say this. Um, in a case where some life, a decision concerning life or death has to be made, all the children have to be in on the decision. All of them, not one speaking for everybody, all of them. So if this individual is not married, you provide concepts and strategies for financial planning, such as wills, life insurance, IRAs, annuity, leaving no family left behind. A lot of people don't even know about annuities, so you see that name, Armida Redfield. There's a resource for you that can probably point you into a lot of directions. As you can see, she understands the value of this, and she's not even near this. She may be in an age group where she can have this conversation, but she's not expecting to need any of these things to be carried out for some time now. But again, you do need the children all come together. So if something, life or death, let's say that they have to have they have to have a surgery, and the individual is chronically ill, and perhaps this is going to be a life-saving procedure or surgery. If there is no power of attorney and there's a hospice coming on board or whatever, you're going to want every one of the children to sign off on it. They have to sign off. Hey, Tracy, we got to talk. God bless you, Charlene. Tracy, we got to talk. Um, there are so many arguments that break out. Now, sometimes there were family members that I had to contact because they weren't all local and they weren't able to reach them. So I had to continue to try to reach them. And they may have been way off in another state, but nothing was going to, it wasn't going to be valid. The decision could not be signed off on unless you had proof that every family member was on the same page. Yes, God bless you. Every family member has to be on the same page. All of the children have to be in agreement with it. Praise the Lord, my friend Sherry West, powerful woman of God. Um, these are the conversations. Have these conversations, because I've seen too many arguments break out. I've seen one person hold up the entire blessing that family, that the parents were leaving behind. They were leaving behind a house that was very valuable, very lucrative transaction, but they even had buyers, but they could not sell because one person was in disagreement. And so these are the things you don't want. So have conversations, good, strong conversations, and not just talk. Oh, we talked about this. Make it legal, put it in writing. Medical power of attorney, durable power of attorney, um, last will and testament, and the living arrangements. There is also, and it's upstairs, I don't have it with me, there is also a document called Five Wishes. Five Wishes tells your medical team, and it is a legal document that you can just fill out. Um, it tells the medical team, once you hand it over, you sign it, and it is notarized. And it tells them what your wishes are. It makes it easier, and you can tell your loved one. I had this conversation with my husband maybe 10 years ago, and he just thought something was wrong with me. But I had seen so much. I said, this is what I want. I do not want to be resuscitated. So if I stop breathing, I don't want to be, the compressions on my chest and try to, massage my heart or restart my heart. Um, if I am leaving here, my heart is weak and they feel they need to put me on the ventilator or intubate me. I don't want to be intubated. So I had these conversations because, again, I work in a hospital. I've stood at the bedside of patients that had to make sudden decisions. Family members had to, if we don't make a decision in the next 10 minutes, in the next 2 minutes, they're going to lose too much oxygen and they're not going to survive. And they didn't know what to do. So it's a very difficult place to be in. Don't put yourself through that. But I don't want to be. So I had told him, and I also put it on what's called Five Wishes. And it's a paper that it is a document. It's like a booklet. Let me see if I can get my husband to bring it downstairs. I'm going to put you on mute. Okay, hopefully he's gonna find it, and then that way I can show it to you. And Five Wishes is you making decisions right now. So I already told him. Now, yes, medical power of attorney and durable power of attorney and Five Wishes. So you can see Armida is very, very knowledgeable about it. This is what she does. Um, Yes, this is pertinent information. Sherry, Evangelist Wallace, we are all going to leave here. Now, people don't want to have these conversations. This is morbid. They will come on here and within 6 seconds find out what we're talking about and switch the channel or go to another program. But when the day comes, and we all know that we're deteriorating and we're getting older, when the day comes, we're going to have the conversation. But I see so many arguments and so many disputes until I have to ask them to step outside because the loved one, though they are sedated, can still hear, and this is disturbing to them. And when they step outside with the conversation, the blood pressure goes down, the respiration goes down. You don't want to put yourself through this. You don't want to put them through this. And, most of it is probably because people don't want to talk about dying. That is one thing the churches don't talk about, how to die. And so it's time to have these conversations. And so, my first question to those of you that may be there, I mean, I haven't always been there, but I've seen enough now to know that I have no problem leaving this world any minute. I have no problem. I feel like Paul, to live is Christ, to die is gain. But I think we have the wrong attitude. So, my question to you, and you can feel free to answer, is information is pertinent. I just went through a battle when my brother passed away. So there's a testament of what happens when you don't. Thank you, Shirley. There is it's an anxiety, and all the emotions are at a height. So sometimes it turns into, from what could have been a discussion into a heated discussion or into an argument. Or I've seen fists put through walls. I've seen things thrown. Emotions run high. But getting back to this conversation, when people say, "Oh, I don't want to talk about that," talk about death. I don't want to think about it. I can't even think about my loved one passing away. I want them to be here with me, and we plead for them. When they get sick, of course we do. We plead for them because God told us to pray and to ask what we will, and so we do that, and we do it in faith. So, but my question to you is, what is it about death that you're afraid of? What is it about death that makes you fight so hard and that makes you shudder at the conversation? And I'm looking for questions or responses. I'm not getting any. I think we don't know what death is going to feel like. Bigger than that, I think we wonder if we're ready. Is that it? I mean, you can just send up some hearts and nobody's going to know who's doing it. If that's it, if that is your concern, are you ready to die? Do you want to stay here longer? Are you not ready to leave this world? Do you want to see your grandchildren grow up and graduate? And do you want to see them succeed? Do you just want to live to an old age What is it about death that frightens you? I'm going to just kind of, take a chance and step out there and say, I think that people wonder if they're really ready. Am I really ready? Do I really have my house in order? Do I really have everything right with God? Am I going to take my last breath and then lift up my eyes in hell? You have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. All that he went through, everything that Jesus went through. Yes, it is the unknown. As they used to say, everybody wants to go to heaven, but few want to die. We want to go in our sleep because we don't know what's going to be. But you got to be kidding me. Do you know that the shed blood, that's it. Thank you.
In the car.
I was in the car.
In your
Thank you.
car, yeah.
All right. This is 5 wishes. I'm going to show it to you. There you go. I'll show it to you again in a minute. Do you see all of the extent that he goes through to forgive you? Do you see all of the times he tells you to repent and believe the gospel? Do you see where he says, if my people, which are called by my name, would just humble yourselves and pray and turn from your wicked ways and seek my face, and I will hear from heaven and I will forgive your sins. So we're laying there, sickness in our body. Doctor gives us a bad report. We get a horrible diagnosis. Something happens, and we're terrified to die because we think that God is going to trick us and we're going to end up in heaven. The devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. Jesus did not go to the extent that he went to let you get all the way up there and say something as frivolous as, well, you did 99 and a half, and that just won't do. That's our song. That's a song we used to sing. 99 and a half won't do. I'm running trying to make 100. And God knows what it took for you to do what you're doing now. So, and don't compare yourself to other people. Well, this person, they pray all the time. They're strong in the word. They're faithful. They're always bringing souls in. I don't do that. I pretty much, I tell people about the Lord. I make it to services. I'm not as strong as others. There's 30, 60, and 100-fold. He said, do not compare yourselves among yourselves. That's not wise. Because you'll be thinking, because I'm not as strong and fortified and I haven't done the great and mighty things that I see this person do, that is required of them. You do what is required of you. Find your purpose, be a light, let God use you at the opportunity, and do not be afraid of death. Listen, death is an enemy, and God is going to put that enemy under our feet. It is an enemy. And he came to destroy the works of the devil. So if that is your problem for having that conversation, lose that problem and have these conversations. Armita, what do you want to ring in with? But here, while you're thinking, this is what is called, and let's see, you got to get it just right because of this lighting. 5, oh, come on. 5 wishes. There it is. 5 wishes. Okay. You see that? And at the bottom gives you a chance to put your name in it. The 5 wishes. My 5 wishes. Number 1, the person I want to make, care decisions for me when I can't. We just talked about that, right, Armida? All right. And then the second one is the kind of medical treatment I want or don't want. I just talked about that. I do not want, you all remember this. I do not want to be resuscitated. I don't want them doing chest compressions because if God is coming to get me, I do not need some doctor that may not even be saved, may even be an atheist. I don't want them doing compressions on my chest. Don't come to rescue me if God is coming to take me out of this evil world. I don't want to be intubated. I don't want a tube in my throat. Just let me go ahead and peacefully enter into the rest of God. Number three, how comfortable I want to be. Now, that goes back to the conversation on where you're going to live. Do you want to remain in your home? If you wish to remain in your home, but that seems to be a financial challenge because later on in life, as we go into that stage of fixed incomes, sometimes we don't have the financial resources to maintain that home. Well, if that is your desire, let your loved ones know. What some of the options are if you don't want to have a loved one move in and stay with you because that would give them an opportunity to save some money and you too, and you can continue together to meet those financial obligations. Or there are many resources that are out there, financial resources that are out there that will help you meet some of those financial hardships. So there are resources, government agencies that can assist you with hardships. And I'll give you the name of one. And Armida, I do want you to put your information up so that people will know how to reach you. One of those is called the Area Agency on Aging. It can be a government, and then it can also be funded and work through a private nonprofit. Can also be among those resources. So, Area Agency on Aging, that is a government institution. There are other plans that are in place. Let me see, I had some information. Let's see if I can get that in front of me. Bear with me. Okay, so Area Agency on Aging, here's what it does. By making a range of supports available, Area Agency on Aging makes it possible for older individuals to choose the services and living arrangements that suit them best. You can find your local area agency on aging by visiting eldercare.gov. So there is one. And then there are debt relief programs. So that is some help that you can get. And of course, when you're in disparity or there's some kind of a problem, there are resources that are available. All right. Um, other things that can be available in addition to someone coming and living with you may be reverse mortgage. That may be you. So I don't know if you planned on handing that house down to someone else, or maybe, generally one of the bigger problems when we're aging is that we see a lot of people come and a lot of people go. So my baby sister is gone. My older sisters are gone. My two younger brothers are very substantial. They're still here. But my husband is still with me. Something were to happen to my husband. He tells me that that will be taken care of. But let's just say that's not the case for everybody. But you have a home and it has some equity in it. You can live off of the equity in your home that can give you extra money so you can stay in your home. And there are even resources that will cost you nothing, where they will give you money to fix up that home and make it livable. Because after so many years of living in it, you need to do some updates. You need to be able to make some repairs and make it a sound structure that you can reside in. Now, there is again that reverse mortgage option. You have to read that over and see what works best for you. So if you want to stay in your home, there's one option. If you want to stay in a assisted living facility. It's going to be for those that genuinely have a lot of resources, financial resources, because it does cost thousands upon 10,000s. What I found is those that have a need for financial assistance, they may not be able to get around on their own, they may not be able to cook on their own, but their faculties, their mental faculties are very sound, and they're still very social, and they still enjoy, a lot of things in life. Some of them may even live in some of these group homes, or there are other assisted living facilities that are smaller and more affordable. And what they do is sell their homes and take the money from the equity that they made out of their home, and they also use that money to make monthly payments to live in these facilities. And then their children are still around. All right. So those are some resources, and we can talk about it more later on. This is just the general information of part number 2. And that one is how comfortable I want to be. So make up your mind how comfortable you want to be. Make that known to your loved ones. Do that now. Don't wait until later and say, oh, what options do we have? Do it now. Make the arrangements now, because these are your golden years. These are the times that you are supposed to spend with your feet up, relaxing, sitting back, enjoying not having responsibility, nobody to answer to, enjoying being able to come and go and do as you wish when you will. These are your golden years. So you are to be able to enjoy them. And some of these things that get in the way there are resolutions for them. There are various resources that can get you past that. So the last thing you want to do is not make plans, and then you end up in a facility that you don't like, in an area where you don't like, and with people that may not like their jobs. People may not want to come and see you. And you're sad, you're depressed, there's anxiety, there's frustration. You'll look at your life and you'll wonder, what have I come to? Is this the way it was supposed to end? No, it wasn't. And it didn't have to end that way. So that's why I'm coming to you with this part 2. Now, there's going to be at least 3 or 4 parts to it. So now, that was question number 3. God bless you, Elder McDade. Prosperity fund. Okay, so let me give you this. Armida is very diligent in her work. So if you have questions for someone on a local basis, she's based here in Michigan. I don't know, do you service just Michigan? Because I know that there are policies and laws that are both government, which would make it federal, and local and national. So you may want to put that information. But there's her website and the name of her business. Okay, so as you can see, she's all over. So with the power of the internet and her level of knowledge, she knows those resources. So you don't struggle with them. Don't make this a grievous process. Work with someone, and she's saved, and she's humorous, but she has your best interest in mind. She's not going to hurt anybody in any kind of a way. So that was, if you want, how comfortable do you want to be? Depends on how much you want to spend, what kind of investments. And if you can't necessarily see yourself there, what resources are there to help you? All right. The fourth question of this 5 wishes. Let me see if I can show it once again. 5 wishes. And see, this light makes it crazy. Oh my gosh, it's not doing very well. Oh, okay, I'm embarrassed. All right, I'll do better. There it is, 5 wishes. I don't know why when I turn it sideways. Anyway, 5 wishes. All right, so the fourth one is how I want people to treat me. That is big, which means you're going to determine who you want to be around. Do you want people to be very do you want people to just be very, very subservient to you? Uh, do you want people to treat you as a colleague or a resident that is a friend? Um, you might want to talk about the way you want to be talked to. The biggest part of that, I believe, is you don't want to lose your independence. You don't want anyone treating you like a child that cannot make decisions. And those things are important. That's one of the hardest parts for seniors. They feel they're going to lose their independence. Have that conversation and let them know these are things that happen. And when I get to this place in life, see to it that that's not a problem. I can put my confidence in you that you will be one person that will uphold my wishes and that you will honor these things that mean so much to me that may seem insignificant. I don't want to lose my independence. I want to be a part of the decision making processes. And even if we get to that place where many people will get to, where the mind is not as sound, there are ways of reaching everybody and anybody. They are there in some way, in some capacity. And so there are classes that we will be offering to teach you how to converse with them, interact with them, and find that place of comfort where they can interact and have the power to socialize. God doesn't take it all away. They're just not totally blank. You just haven't found it. The problem is not them, the problem is you. So let's get you together so that you can enjoy them. So, how do they want to be treated? They want to be treated with dignity. They don't want to lose their respect. They don't want to be the child being told what to do. They want to have a part of the decision making process. How do you want to be treated? All right. And the final one of the five wishes is what I want my loved ones to know. Now, I was at the hospital one Thanksgiving. I had to work that day. I was on call for emergencies. And sure enough, I got a call Thanksgiving Day. They had a turkey trot, and it was in the city. And a person that's reasonably young that was in the turkey trot passed out, and they could not revive them. So, if you're not healthy and you're not fit, if your body can't take the endurance and you're running with your family and your children, you're trying to keep up and you think you're going to, catch your breath later on, there may be some underlying problems there. There may even be some physical defects with the heart that you did not know about. And um, when I came home, it stunned me because he was a young man, young children, beautiful young wife, but he was gone. And so I came home and I let everyone, because the children were here, my grandchildren were here, my son in laws were here, and I came home and I hugged them and I told them one by one how much I love them and why, what they meant to me and what was so outstanding about them. So tell them the things you want them to know. Even share with them the things, when they were being raised. Maybe there's some um, fences to mend. Maybe there's some, you know, humble, quiet, somber conversations of forgiveness, or I want you to understand this. I may never have, I may never have shared this with you, but here's something I want you to understand. So these are very good conversations. And so that one was what I want my children to learn about me. Now, as you go through this booklet, it's a very thin booklet and it has 11 pages. It gives you a chance to put in where you're from, what your wishes are. It also give you a chance to choose death if you want. If they say that there's permanent brain damage, should we pursue some type of remedy or procedure? And you may say, let's just not put me through all of that, or I prefer to just quiet and peaceably be kept comfortable. That is another thing. In another condition under which I do not want to be kept alive. As I keep mentioning, I don't want to be resuscitated. I don't want to be intubated. If I'm in a coma and not expected to recover, there's opportunities for you to put those statements there. Then there's no bickering and arguing. And then there's no questions. Well, she said this, or I think she would want that. These are good questions. What life support treatment means to me. I've said that over and over. Um, what should you keep in mind as my caregiver? I want to stay home. I don't want to. And then at some point, my mother just said, anything but this hospital. I just don't want to be in the hospital again. Well, I was young and I was not ready to lose my mother. And so I felt the doctors could help her and I took her to the hospital. She stayed there 5 months and she still passed away. She never made it back home. So if I had had these questions and discussions, I could have honored them. I could have reiterated them. We could have had a quick conversation. Mom, this is what you said. Is this what you want? Are we changing this? Whatever you want is what we're going to do. Another one was my wish on how comfortable I want to be. Now, when it comes to how comfortable you want to be, that's when you get into hospice care and palliative care. Hospice care is when you are simply making sure, and the philosophy for hospice care is that you are in between two worlds. You're in this world and you're on your way to eternity and into another world. While you're in that in between place, we want to keep you comfortable emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, and psychologically. And we provide all of the disciplines and all of the professionals that are skillfully trained to assist you in that. And then palliative care. Remember that word. Palliative care is where you want to be cared for by hospital or hospice trained individuals. Now, these are all out of the home. These can all be out of your home. So you don't have to go to the doctor. The doctor will come to you. If you're not feeling well, you're having an episode, you don't have to get dressed and go into the emergency room. The nurse will come to you. Your entire record is there. All the medications you take are there. The skilled nurse, not just a skilled nurse, but a registered nurse will come, and it's 24 hours around the clock. And they will check out, they will, of course, give you an examination and decide what needs to be done to make you comfortable or to, resolve this episode. And that's hospice care. Palliative care is a little bit different. Palliative care is when you want to be kept comfortable. You want the doctors and nurses to come and see you at home so you don't have to use your energy to get up and get dressed and get frustrated in the middle of the night, go to the hospital. Palliative care is for people that may still be seeking aggressive treatment. Say they have cancer and they decide that I'm still going to take chemotherapy, I'm still going to go through my radiation, but I still want the services of the doctors coming to my home, the nurses coming to my home, the social worker coming, telling me what services and resources are available, a comfortable bed, maybe those facilities that I need to really be comfortable and made well. And check on me every twice a week and have the chaplain come and, just listen or maybe talk or sing or pray, whatever you want. Or maybe uh, um, a music therapist that may come and play a beautiful instrument to give me all of those comforts. So you want to caress every part of the individual, mind, body, soul, and spirit. So not just the doctors for the physical part, and not just the psychosocial team, which would be the chaplains and the social workers, which caress the spiritual part of the individual and keep that part comfort. And for pleasure, the music therapist, which is also for the spiritual part of the man. So hospice um, and palliative care. It's not, just, oh my God, they're going to give her poison, they're going to give them medication that's going to hasten death. That's not what we do. So I want to say that. And then you do have to have a signing of it on the back of this. You may not be able to see it, but this is on the final page where they actually have to sign it, and it has to be dated, and down here in the bottom it has to be notarized. So you can't just stop, well, let's pull over and let's just get this signed and turned it in. You got to take this to a notary public, and then it's a valid document. So that is part of what I wanted to say to you on preparing for the golden years part 2. Now we're going to talk about part 3 in our next discussion. And in our next discussion, it's going to be quite different from these. So now, before I go, are there any questions? Armida has put her information here. Are there any questions? I do this because I care, and probably because you haven't done it. And chances are, you'll find out that it's easy. It's easy and it's necessary. Okay? All right, no questions, comments, concerns. All right, well, with that, love you very much. I will look forward to coming back to you on preparing for the golden years, part 3. All right. And if you have any questions about this one, just go ahead and post them, as I will be monitoring this particular um, video. So part 1 has the video out there, part 2. All right. God bless you. And thank you so much for joining us. I want everyone to have a great evening. Do take time and write down Armida's information. She can answer a lot of questions for you. She says you can follow her at Prosperity Financial. That is her website. Yes. Thank you so much, Armida. This is necessary. And we're going to get this kind of information out to everybody. So, hey, the golden years, we're going to make sure that you don't take the gold out of the golden years. We're going to keep it golden. So, all right. God bless you, Mother Wilson, and everybody that attended. And we will see you in the next episode. All right. Share this and do subscribe. If you are not subscribed, am I? Yeah. If you are not subscribed, be sure to subscribe to Reset Forever Ministries. Reset Forever Ministries on the YouTube channel, and you'll get a notice whenever we're on. Any of your questions will be addressed personally, and then maybe we can address it openly because it's probably someone else. We just won't tell them it's you. God bless you, Pastor Stone. Thank you for jumping on. But I hope that all this information will be a tremendous blessing to you, your loved ones, your caregivers, and to the people of God as a whole, and to those in the world that don't know which way to turn. Don't wait till it's a struggle. All right, God bless.